Have you ever felt like you were never really a kid? While everyone else was laughing, making mistakes, and enjoying childhood, you were paying attention, watching, adjusting, trying to keep things together. Maybe you became the responsible one. Maybe people looked at you and said, "Wow, you're so mature for your age." And maybe part of you felt proud hearing that. But what if I told you something strange? What if you weren't actually mature? What if you were surviving? Because psychologists discovered something fascinating. Children who grow up too fast often carry invisible patterns that follow them into adulthood, affecting relationships, stress, confidence, and even the way they rest. And if that's true, then maybe your personality isn't exactly your personality. Maybe it's your survival strategy. The child who grew up too fast. Imagine a child sitting quietly in their room. They hear their parents arguing. They hear doors closing. Silence. And even though nobody says anything, they already know something is wrong. So they start paying attention. Is mom angry? Is dad stressed? Should I stay quiet today? Slowly that child learns something dangerous. My job is to keep things okay. Psychologists call this parentification. It's when a child starts taking on emotional or practical responsibilities that should belong to adults. Sometimes it's obvious. Taking care of younger siblings, cooking, handling responsibilities. But sometimes it's invisible. Becoming the family therapist, reading everyone's emotions, trying to keep peace, trying to make sure nobody gets upset. And that's where childhood starts changing. What happens to your brain? 2 to 3:30. Here's where things get interesting. Your brain adapts, because that's what brains do. When you're repeatedly exposed to stress, your mind starts preparing for danger before danger even appears. Imagine a smoke detector. Normally, it only goes off during real danger. But now imagine it becoming so sensitive that even steam from the shower triggers it. That's what happens. Your brain becomes hyper-alert. Psychologists call this hypervigilance. You begin scanning rooms automatically, reading facial expressions, watching tone of voice, predicting people's moods. You become incredibly aware. And the scary part? You don't even realize you're doing it anymore. Because for you, it became normal. The survival superpowers. Now here's the confusing part. These patterns actually help you. You become the reliable person, the calm person, the mature person. You learn to solve problems fast. You become independent. You become emotionally intelligent. People admire you. Teachers like you. Friends rely on you. Bosses trust you. And society rewards it. Everyone says, "You're so strong. You're so responsible. You always handle everything." But every superpower has a price. Because that independence, sometimes it's fear of needing people. That emotional intelligence, sometimes it's anxiety in disguise. That strength, sometimes it's exhaustion from wearing a mask. How it shows up in adulthood. Years later, the child grows up, but the survival patterns stay. In relationships, you become the giver. You take care of everyone. You understand everyone. But asking for help feels uncomfortable. Because somewhere inside, a voice says, "Handle it yourself." At work, you struggle to rest. You overwork. You push yourself too hard. Not because you're lazy, but because stopping feels strange. Because being productive became connected to your worth. And in friendships, you're often the therapist friend, the listener, the one who says, "How are you?" but rarely says, "I'm not okay." And eventually something strange happens. You become surrounded by people, yet somehow feel alone. But here's something important. Not everything you built is damaged. Your empathy is real. Your strength is real. Your resilience is real. You survived difficult things. And that matters. But survival doesn't have to become your permanent identity. Because you were never supposed to carry everything. You were never supposed to become an adult before becoming a child. And maybe healing isn't becoming someone new. Maybe healing is allowing yourself to become who you were supposed to be all along. The child inside you never disappeared. They've just been waiting for permission to rest. waiting for permission to feel safe, waiting for permission to finally stop carrying everything alone. And maybe that permission starts today. If this felt personal, leave a comment below, because someone scrolling through the comments might realize for the first time they weren't alone either.